Hi, I'm Susan King, the Dean of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication here at UNC Chapel Hill with Brooke Baldwin.
Hi.
A Tar Heel.
Yes.
A grad we're very proud of.
Thank you.
And the anchor of CNN 2 to 4 every day.
Yes.
And I have to tell you just this funny thing. Of course, when you came into the lobby, you saw that we have CNN.
I saw the big screen.
Huge screen. And at one of our competitors, they have a huge screen like that. And they have down below that they go between CNN, MSNBC, and Fox because they don't want anyone to think that they're prejudiced. But I wanted to say we have CNN because Brooke Baldwin anchors between 2 and 4.
King. Yes, I appreciate that. I get tweets from your students who walk in the front foyer and they're like watching you on TV. Go Heels! I love that.
But it also, it fits our whole culture. But I want to talk to you about the news business. We're going to have you, of course, as a leader in our women's leadership program in later on this afternoon. Yeah. But right now, I'd like to talk to you about the business of television, and particularly cable. Everyone talks about newspapers in change, but television is also about change. So you've been in the business 12 years. What's the biggest change you are experiencing?
I think the easy answer is just simply the tangible, which is technology. I mean, even when I got out of the J School in 2001 and worked in a small market in Charlottesville, I remember there was one computer in the entire newsroom that we had to share to check email. And then the newsroom software was almost like DOS. And I'm 34, and now here we're walking around, flash forward to 2013, I've got my 2 phones, we're tweeting, we're Instagramming, we're always on email. It's fast. It adds much pressure. It's much different, I think, from even just 12 years ago in that sense.
And what kind of pressure? That you have no moment to think about
You
what
are
it is?
always available.
Yeah.
There is no reason why I shouldn't know about X, Y, or Z because I'm on 80,000 different listservs within CNN to know what's going on at any given time. And there is an expectation that you need to be in the loop if you want to be successful and be knowledgeable and be well-read. It's not just about reading the papers. It's about being hip to the latest iteration of what's going on in the Washington Navy Yard shooting in this moment, and then being able to be live and breaking that news confirmed on air. It's constant.
And so you have to, of course, read in the morning.
Right, this phrase read in,
Yes.
I only learned that at CNN, by the way. It's just reading. It's just reading. Yeah.
But you have to be on the entire time you are on the air. You're not sitting back watching the pieces that are running as you're anchoring. You're having to see things breaking in real time, right?
Right, so it's real time. So 24/7 CNN. So I'm sitting there and my little piece of landscape is 2 hours. So on any given day, as things can totally change in the rundown out the window. And, some days the rundown that we put in our software system is exactly the rundown that pops up. I mean, it's always going to change, but then some days they just blank the teleprompter and you go for 2 hours if there's breaking news. So you always have to be on. Yeah.
But what I notice is that you are doing some of your own work. In the olden days, somebody might talk into your ear and say, "We have just learned," or a reporter on the scene is telling us, and they give you a little bit, and you may do it. Now you're tweeting during the newscast.
Tweeting during the newscast. I don't know how many people actually do that, but I'm just one of those who does because I think I appreciate the instant feedback, and I think sometimes if there is breaking news, and that gets tricky and it's a slippery slope because if something's happening in X location and we're covering it and I want a beeper or a phoner with somebody at that location on X story, I will open it up to social media as we have umpteen million other people making calls. And so as I start to get tweets, we then have to vet the tweets, vet the source, and then that person can hop on the phone and be live on the show like that.
So you're both editor and anchor. You're not reading the news only. You're very much a participant in the news judgment.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think that's the biggest misnomer. I mean, maybe if you're an anchor at CNN or a network, I think that you have to know what's going on because to your point, at any minute something can break and you have to be knowledgeable about X, Y, or Z. You have to also be knowledgeable about what you don't know and know smart questions to ask of whoever is the expert in that field. But I have a team, an awesome editorial team, but I am in that morning meeting with them. I am up 2 hours before that reading in, pitching my own stories. Hey, here are the guests I think we should have on said story. It's a group effort, but I'm not just sitting there and reading copy at 2 p.m. No.
And you have to blog and tweet. So writing is as important as being able to know good pictures and write to pictures, et cetera. That's a new part of the television business too, right?
Right. I don't write the copy in my shows. I have writers. They do all of that. I work with them on all the segments and all the questions. There is a new push to have us blogging. I write my own tweets, but I write my own packages too. So I may have a field producer, but I think it's important to write my own stuff. But I think that was ingrained in me in the writing skill from Carolina.
Yes, thank you.
Carolina.
Talk a little bit about the pressure in the business as well, because there are new players. CNN dominated the cable news scene for 20 years. And now there's Fox and there's MSNBC, there's Al Jazeera, there's BBC.
Right.
So
CCTV.
Tell me a little bit about the kind of pressures that are there institutionally.
Well, I think competition is healthy. But yes, I mean, at the end of the day, maybe not for me, but for other people, it's about the numbers, it's about ratings, it's about advertiser money. And so when you have a lot of people in on this, piece of the pie, you want to, there is that added pressure there. But at the same time, I feel like we're not Al Jazeera America and we're not Fox. I mean, I very much so drink the CNN Kool-Aid. I mean, I really feel like we are in the middle. So despite the fact that there are these other factors and more people on the scene, on the cable scene, if you will, I feel like we remain true to our reporting. And so our reporting doesn't necessarily change based upon someone else's reporting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think a little bit that CNN culture, articulating that for our students particularly, who they may not know it. It's been ingrained for 20 years that you are the place to go to when a story is breaking, because you're going to learn it as it evolves.
Right, but then when the story is not breaking, that's our challenge at CNN. When there is not a breaking story, how do we keep the viewer? Because it's incredible when there are those breaking stories, our numbers are insane, but then they die down, and we need to maintain that viewer in those other time periods.
And what happens when, that's the time when the creativity comes in.
Right.
But that can also be the time when all of a sudden some trial dominates the court.
Right.
Or some missing girl or something like that, and then people will get mad because they'll say, this isn't news, this is cable stuff.
Right.
So how is CNN dealing with that these days? Do you try to be more enterprise reporting or more Washington focused?
No, I think with our new leadership, I think his thing is it's multi-topic. It's not, we cover a lot of politics, and especially with everything happening in Washington right now, we're doing a lot of politics on the budget and the debt ceiling that's about to happen. But I don't know.
But you're trying to be many stories rather than one.
We're trying to be many stories, yes. So, entertainment, but not too much entertainment. It's like this funny, fine balance. But I think that is a nice place for us to enterprise. So that's nice, I think, for crews out in the field, coming up with packages. I mean, there are different, we go in waves where we do more live interviews and less packages. And now I think we're still working on finding that balance now.
And who does CNN see its biggest competition? Do they see it as the internet because people can get the news whenever they want?
It's a great question. Yes. I mean, we're about to launch, I just participated in a town hall for CNN.com where they're about to launch this whole new, a newer version of CNN.com. Because yes, people are, I think it was the Boston bombing, and my ears perked because I was in Boston for 3 weeks, and they were going to mobile first, and then mobile sent them to TV. It wasn't the other way around. And so I think they're having to... And there's a super top secret thing that's going on at CNN that's involving my show that will rock people's worlds, I think, in about a year on CNN.com. So we are trying to be ahead of the ball on that. But yes, I think it's the internet, and I think it's Fox News Channel.
Okay, I heard that. But experimentation is part of the culture because change is so much a part of our news world.
Yes. So we're experimenting with this new top secret thing. But at the same time, I mean, I think at the end of the day, people just want a good story. So you can experiment to a point. You just want the story.
And good storytelling.
Good storytelling.
Trumps everything.
Good
always.
writing.
Last question, because our classes are students 18 to 20-something.
Okay.
They're picking journalism or they're picking communications, advertising, PR. Is CNN looking to get them to watch? I mean, because your numbers are a little larger.
Yes.
So,
Are you kidding? That is like, we are all about the demo. We are all about the demo and having that fresh perspective and the experimenting and bringing in those young people to help. You know, we need some more hip people, I think, you know, to freshen up what is this great institution, but we need those fresh eyes. Yes, we are looking for those people.
and how do you think of these young people? How are they different than other people? Because they have always consumed their news differently. So how do you think of them? How do you try to engage them?
You mean as a viewer?
As an organization saying we want to attract these young people. So how is there a strategy inside that
Not that
you just do your job?
I just do my job, and I hope that I appeal to a younger viewer. I hope that my tweeting engages with a younger viewer than maybe someone else may not. And I hope that some of our story selection, it's a balance. It's a balance between hard-hitting Washington journalism and, you know, something that may be more interesting to an 18-year-old. It's finding that balance, and it's not easy.
Well, I will tell you, Media 101 from the media revolution from Gutenberg to Zuckerberg will
Yeah.
be watching CNN
Yeah.
after this because I'm going to share with them your,
Thank you so
your
much.
interview. And we're thrilled to have you back,
I'm so thrilled to be here.
and we're glad that journalism is alive and well at CNN.
It is. It is. Tar Heels, call me, email me. I will help you. Anytime, seriously, anytime.
Brooke
Thank you.
Baldwin, CNN, 2 to 4.
This is CNN. Thank you so much.